So imagine back in the day, it's a Saturday and you're like 6, and you come downstairs and jump on the TV to entertain yourselves, as there were no PS5s back in the day. You then got bored with normal TV too, and then you see at the top of the screen, the red button. If you're from the UK and are around the age of 20, then you probably know what I'm talking about. The red button, which had plenty of games to entertain your small brain, but there was always one game which everyone always knew about. Ask your friends and I bet they'll remember too. Beehive Bedlam. The little bee where you'd pink flowers at other flowers, and was having the time of your lives trying to compete with your siblings and cousins. At least up until you hit like level 10 and then you had to pay. But at least you enjoyed those 10 levels. Well, today I remade that game, but in 3D. It took me like a week, and if I'm being honest with you, I came across many bugs and also had to learn many new coding concepts, which also produced many of their own bugs. But yeah. Anyway, to begin with, firstly we had to create a few models. I began by making all the flowers that are used in the game and gave them the colours from the original game. Then I had to model the actual beehive and slap in a few textures which I made in Photoshop. And boom, there we go. We have the models sorted. I created the project in Unity, opened the terrain toolbox and began recreating the backdrop which you see in the original game. After playing around with a few tools from the toolbox and watching a video which shows how to make things look good, and then adding a few more things in the back, we now have a recreation of the OG, and I think it turned out quite well. So let's get started on making the core mechanics of the game. I had to first get started on shooting the flower, as it was quite important because there's no game without it. And with the code that you see on the screen now, I had it sort of working. We just now need to work on the flower staying on the board, interacting with other flowers, knocking down other flowers, rebounding off the walls, being able to shoot more than just the initial flower, and so on. Anyways, let's begin. So firstly I worked on rebounding off the walls, and let's just say that colliders confused me a little. And so therefore, with my version of the game at least, you don't actually obey the laws of physics. Normally you'd come off the wall with a rebound angle depending on the angle of approach. However, with my game you just bounce off at a right angle. Honestly though, I reckon it's not that bad, and if you can't hack the angles then you should probably just get good. These flowers are a bit pointless right now as they sort of just fly away after they get shot. So we need them to stay after they interact with the scene. So with some code that I wrote up, the flowers now snap to a position after they either hit the roof or one of the flowers on the board. Next, we needed to knock down the flowers when 3 or more flowers collide. And with the longest code I've ever produced, we made it work. And for the benefit of everyone, if 2 flowers that are both from the flower gun interact, then they will get knocked down. Most of it's done now, to be fair. We just worked on a check where flowers only snap to empty positions and not where there are already flowers. Also, you're gone reloading flowers by randomly picking a number and then choosing the flower that correlates to that number. And this scoreboard which I made in Photoshop, which I think looks alright. With most of the game done, there were very few things to do now, the main one being the levels. I didn't want there to just be one level, and so here I made the first 10 levels with a decent scoring system as well, which mainly imitates the original game. This is done by getting your standard points for knocking down the flowers, but the main bulk of points actually comes from how quick you complete the level. When there are no more flowers on the board, the distance between where the gun is and the top of the board is calculated and then multiplied to give the score. But I just felt like there was one thing missing. Yeah, the red button. Now it's complete. Also added the starting menu, but I feel like it's missing something. Oh yeah, Beehive game, Arda edition. And with that done, the game is now finished. Like I mentioned, there is only 10 levels. But that's because I'm not really trying to release a game for the market. I'm just doing this for the knowledge and experience. My main objective with all of this is to make an open world RPG game. Sort of like Zelda, but I can't make that already without knowing anything, and so I'm slowly building up my CV of games until I'm capable of building that sort of game. However, I will be releasing this on itch.io if anyone wants to play. Only on PC though. However, there will be bugs that you find that I didn't. Just let me know and I'll probably fix it. I don't know actually, maybe not. Anyways, see ya.